All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at the state of artificial intelligence in the Gulf region. And based on what we're seeing, there's a really fascinating story unfolding, one about massive ambition, but also a very real struggle to actually see the benefits.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty wild number, 84%. That's how many organizations in the Gulf Cooperation Council, the GCC, are now using AI in some way. I mean, that's a huge leap from just 62% in 2023. So the enthusiasm is absolutely there, right?
But, and this is the real kicker, get this, only 11% of them are actually getting significant financial value out of it. We're talking a real, measurable boost to their bottom line, 5% or more. That huge gap between nearly everyone using AI and almost no one profiting from it, that's the whole story right there. So why is this happening? To really get to the bottom of this, we've got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture first.
So let's talk about the global scene for a second. The GCC isn't on an island here. This is a worldwide phenomenon. And to really grasp the paradox we're seeing in the Gulf, you have to understand that, the entire world is trying to figure this technology out at the same time. Globally, it's kind of the same story. AI use is everywhere, but getting it to work across an entire company is still really rare. Think of it like this. Almost everyone has dipped their toes in the water, but very few are actually swimming. Most are just stuck experimenting. And that global number, 39% seeing a financial impact, well, that's really important context for what's happening in the GCC.
Okay, so with that global context in mind, let's zoom back in on the GCC. This is where we see that same story of experimentation, but with a unique intensity. And this is where we really come face to face with that paradox we mentioned.
And here's the thing. When you look at adoption rates, the GCC is right up there. We're talking 84%, which is neck and neck with the global average of 88%. So they're not behind at all. They are all in on this.
But here's where the story takes a sharp turn. Just look at this. A whopping 69% are basically just playing around with it, still in the pilot phase. And that little sliver, that 11%, those are the only ones who are actually making real money from it. It means a ton of companies are pouring money in, but not seeing much come out.
Okay, so what gives? What's the roadblock here? Why isn't all this excitement and investment turning into actual results?
Well, it seems to boil down to three big hurdles. First up, you've got the people problem. Not enough skilled talent and teams that just aren't set up for this. Next, there's the tech and data side of things. I mean, we all know the saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. You can't build good AI on bad data. And finally, the oldest problem in the book, people just don't like to change how they do things.
Okay, so those are the problems. But what about the solutions? Who's actually figured this out? Let's take a look at what those top performers, that tiny 11%, are doing differently.
And what you find when you dig in is pretty telling. The winners aren't just throwing money at shiny new tech. No, they're playing a different game entirely. They're building the whole ecosystem to make it work.
Let's start with Saudi Arabia. Their approach is massive. It's all about national scale, driven straight from the top.
So what does that look like? Well, for one, they're building their own infrastructure, keeping control of their data. They're also holding government agencies' feet to the fire by measuring how ready they are for AI. And they're going all in on talent with this insane 1 million Saudis in AI program. That's a huge commitment.
All right, now let's hop over to the UAE. Their strategy is a little different. It's really holistic. They're looking at everything, the big plan, the people, and the rules of the road, all at once.
And their playbook is seriously impressive. I mean, they've got a whole university dedicated just to AI, the first in the world. They're using AI to make public services better, and, this is super important, they're building in the safety features, the ethical rules, right from the start.
Okay, so we've seen the massive scale of Saudi Arabia and the holistic approach of the UAE. Now, Qatar and Oman show us another way to win, focusing on smart partnerships and targeted innovation.
It's all about leverage. Qatar is basically fast-tracking its progress by teaming up with the world's best. Meanwhile, Oman is zeroing in on specific areas like healthcare and building up its local talent. It really proves you don't have to be the biggest player to make a huge difference.
So, with all these different strategies in play, what's next? What does the future of AI and the GCC look like?
You can expect a few big things. First, more autonomous systems. Think AI agents running parts of a smart city. Second, a huge push for AI that actually gets the Arabic language and local culture. Third, a growing focus on ethics and making sure we can trust these systems. And finally,
AI is going to be a massive player in hitting those big sustainability targets. And really, this brings it all together. The GCC is following the global playbook in some ways, but its story is totally unique because of that massive government push and this intense focus on diversifying the economy. The real opportunity here isn't just to keep up, it's to actually lead the world in things like data privacy and building out this strategic infrastructure.
So in the end, it all comes down to this. The region is at a crossroads. They've got the money, they've got the vision, but can they execute? Closing that gap we've been talking about between just using AI and actually getting value from it, that's the whole ballgame. And how they answer that question is going to define their future for a long, long time.